Hey Soul Family, welcome back for another video. For those of you who are new, my name is Chelsea Curtis and I am a reality architect, an interdimensional channel, a psychic medium, a cosmic teacher, and a galactic ambassador, and I channel messages from what I call my spirit family. They are interdimensional entities and energies with whom I corroborate to bring through these messages for you. Today's message is going to be building upon the message that I released last week, okay? As I stated in that video, things have ramped up since then, which is going to continue happening. But my guides wanted me to talk a little bit about why we're here, how we got here, and what we can experience moving forward. So first of all, let's talk about why we're here and how we got here. So what has been happening over the past many years, if we wanted to trace it back to an origin, it would be 2012. But there were many, many years even before that where our galactic family began preparing us as a collective for what we would be experiencing right now. Okay. There were people back in like the 1950s, I think, who began channeling entities who identified themselves as Galactic Federation. It's where we get a lot of the information that we have about General Hatton and Commander Ashtar, and essentially began speaking to us and giving us a lot of the New Age principles that we, as a spiritual collective, has practiced for many decades at this point. And moving back to 2012, we began experiencing a lot of timeline shifts. And again, we experienced these timeline shifts before 2012, but the really serious timeline shifts that needed to take place to get us to where we are today, I personally trace back to 2012. Okay. You can also see this in stuff like ghost hunting shows. My favorite example is if you go back and start watching Ghost Hunters, because they're, to an extent, very, very honest about the information that they experience or the experiences that they have with the paranormal as they're investigating. And around 2012, you notice that they start talking about these people are calling us in because the energy within this space has changed. The experiences that they're having have changed, okay? And I don't want to ramble too much, but that's where all of this started, 2012. Things really ramped up in 2020, and over the past 5 years, we as a collective have been hurtling full speed ahead into what we are experiencing now. All of these collective awakening experiences, each one has peeled a layer off that has made it clearer and clearer and clearer to see all of the corruption that has been taking place within ruling structures. I say ruling structures because this is stuff like Hollywood, which has great, great influence over the collective as a whole. Political structures, religious structures. I'm talking big, powerful entities that have major influence on not only us as a collective, but the direction that our planet, that our reality experience is spiraling toward. Okay. We are finding out that the sex trade industry, the human trafficking industry, the child sex trade industry is much, 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 much larger than a lot of us sheeple thought that it was. And I say sheeple because I think there were a lot of people who understood how big it was, how prominent it was, and I hate to use this word because I don't feel like it sounds too positive, but how lucrative it was for a number of people. But a lot of us, I think, didn't want to believe that that was the case. And so now here we are. But we're discovering the truth about that. We're discovering that there is a large number of sexual abusers who embed themselves within religious structures. We're finding out that the people in power who are making decisions for our country are more interested in how deep they can fill their pockets than they are in working for us, the citizens of the country who elected them into their office. And again, many people have been talking about this for a very long time, and we didn't want to worry ourselves with it. And now we are at a point in this collective trajectory where we can no longer deny it. It has infringed upon our comfortability enough that the vast collective is now rising up to fight against it. Okay, that's what it took. Never mind the marginalized that have been experiencing this for hundreds of thousands of years. But we're here now. We are here now, and we are ready to make a difference. And it's because of the layers peeling off. There's a lot of astrology that is supporting a lot of the revolution that's happening around the world right now. As a matter of fact, it's not just Pluto and Aquarius. There's a Gemini placement, I can't remember what it is right now, that is lending to this. On top of that, next week, I feel like collective shit is going to hit an even bigger collective fan because we have Mars moving into Scorpio. Now, one thing that you have to understand is that Mars in Scorpio, that's its home sign. It is also at home in Aries. I feel like Mars Aries is it's still intense. It's still a little stabby, but it's more motivated. It's more, let's get shit done. Let's fight battles to create the reality that we want. Whereas Mars Scorpio is like, let's just kill whoever we have to in order to create the reality we want. And I'm not saying that to freak you out. I'm saying that because I feel like this is going to very much turn up the temperature on the intensity that we're already experiencing right now. There is a lot collectively that is coming together. And on top of that, you have this massive buildup as all of these awakening experiences have happened. Not only are we now able to see the truth, but we are in the capacity of knowing that we can change it, that we can take these people that have been creating the chaos, that have been misusing their power, that have been abusing people, and being able to get away with it because of the power and influence that they hold for years. This is not a new thing. This has happened within governments and within society for hundreds of thousands of years. But so many of us felt like we couldn't make a difference, that we just never tried. And I'm not saying that no one's ever tried before. Obviously they have. There have been thousands of revolutions throughout history that have succeeded. We as a country would not be a country if it weren't for the American Revolution that happened in the 1700s. Okay, we all know of the French Revolution, which also happened in the 1700s. And non-coincidentally, we're in the same astrology. A lot of the same astrology. I say this, all of this, to tell you this is a long time coming. This is not something that we all just woke up one morning and decided, let's start a revolution. The entities and energies that have been helping us move into a new conscious state, new consciously evolved state of being, have been actively supporting us in moving us into a space of being ready for this time, being ready for the revolution and the subsequent ascension that would follow it. Acting now is choosing change. Choosing change is setting the intention to ascend into that new state of being. Okay, and if you haven't guessed it already, this is going to be a longer video because I had a lot to say about this. And my guides felt like it was necessary for me to share with all of you what has been coming in for me. So let's talk about what this means for us moving forward. Okay. More and more people are going to continue to wake up. I think we all kind of knew that, especially next week is going to be a big awakening experience. I also believe that there is going to be a pretty immense solar event that is going to take place on or around the solar eclipse, which is going to lend to this energy. This is also the time when we have this transit of Mars moving into Scorpio, and at some point, Mars in Scorpio is going to make a fairly difficult aspect with Pluto and Aquarius. And that's the smoking gun. Okay. So next week is probably going to be even more of this fear energy arising. These people that are in power using that to a particular narrative that they've created around all of this. Okay. Another thing that has been coming forward for me is that there is going to be immense political changes in the very near future. This is going to continue through the end of 2025 and into 2026. I feel like a lot of this will have settled down by the summer of 2026. But it will still be happening. I'm talking borders and countries moving. I'm talking some countries that work really well together and maybe are in close proximity to one another, coming together and forming new countries. I'm talking countries that have been renamed because of colonization, going back to their original names, and reclaiming that aspect of their culture and their history. This is going to be a really wild time. It's going to be a really wild time. And I urge you, number one, be discerning. Listen to your own intuition. Okay. There's going to be a lot of propaganda. There's going to be a lot of different narratives that are being presented from all different sides of the story. And there's not a good side and a bad side. Okay. There are different sides that want different things, and you need to decide which one of those. You need to decide which information you're taking in and believing that you're taking to heart that is solidifying within you. And when you feel that it is shifting your vibrational frequency, when you feel that it is pulling you too far down into the density than you need to go, then you need to step back and you need to self-care. That is my suggestion to you. As we move through the remainder of the year, as I said, all of this is going to continue. Three-Eye Atlas is going to play a part in all of this, and I believe that is going to start in October. There are going to be some energetic disruptions. Many of you know I'm friends with Tegan Gates, and she has talked a lot about Three-Eye Atlas and information that she has channeled from her guides over on her channel. I highly suggest going to check that out. But this is essentially going to send out energy disruptions, which is going to be an expedited version, an expedited period of time from these, of these awakening experiences that we've been having over the past several years. So we're going to have another huge, huge dark night of the soul experience. And it is going to be a very, very rapid push into collective awakening and conscious ascension. What does that mean? It means that a bunch of shadow is going to rise to the surface that we're going to have to face. It means that we're going to have to wade through some density. Okay? It's essentially, again, turning up the heat on everything that we've been experiencing. So just buckle in. Okay? Listen to your intuition. If you need to create more ritual in your life in order to handle a lot of what is going on, then I urge you to move into a space of talking to your guides, beginning that process. Meditation really helps for me. Spending that time being quiet, tuning into your body, going outside and connecting with Mother Gaia, grounding in. I highly suggest creating some sort of ritualized means of dealing with a lot of the energy that we are going to be experiencing in the very near future. Okay. I don't mean to create this video to instill fear or stoke any existing fear that you have. I mean to tell you this because even I've been moving through fear. I can feel it ambiently throughout the collective. I feel it every time a news headline pops up on my phone, letting me know about another revolution that has broken out in another city, letting me know about something that another world leader has done to essentially create more tension. But every time that happens, my guides pop in and they tell me, this is what is supposed to be happening right now, Chelsea. And so that's what they urged me to do, was to come in here and to tell you this, to tell you that this was not the turn for the worst. This was meant to happen. It needed to happen before we could move into this next stage of conscious evolution, of ascending into 5D. So, I love you guys so much. I hope this was encouraging to you in some way. I hope that this answered some questions that you have. If you have more questions, please leave me some comments down below. Let me know. I'll either answer them there or I will create another video talking about this. Again, I know that this won't be my last video talking about the direction that our world is going in. But please know that I love you so much. Please know that. And please know that you are so incredibly beautiful. You are pure fucking magic. You are deeply and irrevocably loved. And you are absolutely never alone. Mwah.